Hello everybody, welcome to Build Fly Go. This is Rio 2020 trip, day 9, part 1. We are leaving Luziania, just outside south of Brasilia, at the Brasilia Aero Club, Aero Clube de Brasilia, where they hosted us and were incredibly generous and had a hangar for us to stay overnight. It was a very, very stormy night, and we were very happy to know the plane was in a hangar when the storms came through and we saw them through our hotel windows. Um, they helped us with the plane, and they drove us to a hotel and just made sure that everything was okay. And then they gave us the club rate on fuel as well. So thank you so very much, Aero Clube de Brasilia, and also Pedro for taking care of us and making sure we had somewhere to stay and joining us for dinner this past night. Thanks again. Um, the plan here, originally we were going to go to Kilo Delta November Victor. Um, and honestly, I don't remember what the city is called. Divinopolis, I think. Divinopolis. Because that would have made it a 2-ish hour trip. And then we were going to continue to Juiz de Fora, which is a town which is about half hour, 40 minutes outside of Rio, towards our final destination. But looking at the charts and looking at the weather, we decided to go straight to Juiz de Fora and make it about a 2.5, 3 hour trip to Juiz de Fora. The weather looked pretty decent. We talked to the forecasters and the weather looked fine. Everything looked okay. So we decided to go straight to Juiz de Fora. There is a great alternate for us at Juiz de Fora, which is the Zona da Mata airport, which is 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away from Juiz de Fora. So we were pretty confident in our pick, and that's what we did. So it's a longer flight than usual for us. It was closer to 3 hours, and the weather was about what we expected. The forecast in this part of the country, or really so far all of the country, has been isolated CB, fairly well isolated, very visible, not too high layers, so we're probably cruising at 7.5 here. So the layer is below us, not a big deal, very easy to go around the CB. We're being very careful. And as you could see, they're pretty isolated. So we're just going sort of left and right around them. We've got a nice tailwind, so everything's going fine. Every so often we choose to climb a little bit or descend a little bit to keep our distance. So at this point we descend, and we're getting pretty close to Juiz de Fora, so we're descending. But the ceiling, this is very hilly area, and the ceiling is coming lower. And we decided that this was getting pretty unsafe. We were not comfortable with how close we were to the hilltops, and we're not as confident in the terrain database that we have and the obstacle database as we are in the US, where that kind of stuff is very well defined. So we decided it wasn't worth it. Let's climb over the top and hope for an opening. And sure enough, we did not get an opening. We flew over Juiz de Fora for 5 or 10 minutes, at which point we had 90 minutes of fuel left. We could have still gone direct to Rio, but I just wasn't comfortable with that because it's 45 minutes to Rio. And I decided at this point to call our alternate. Zona da Mata has a radio. They don't have a tower. They've got what they call a radio. And I told them, look, this is what's going on. We're over Juiz de Fora. You guys are pretty close, and I realize you don't have fuel, but we need to land. Like we don't want to be circling Juiz de Fora just to wait for this to clear out. We want to get on the ground. You're just 10 minutes away. Can we convert from a VFR flight plan to an IFR flight plan, which is not something that I understand is done in Brazil. You just don't do that. And the Zona da Mata radio operator was incredibly helpful, and he says, no, absolutely, you need to come in, consider yourselves IFR, do the RNAV runway, I think it was runway 26. Are you able to do the RNAV runway 26? And I said, yes, absolutely. I've got the databases, I have the charts. We bought the Jeppesen charts just in case of situations like this. So sure enough, we did the RNAV 26. It was a LOC plus vertical guidance, and it was perfect. We flew in just after that airliner that you see right there. And I get there and I'm thinking, I'm about to get yelled at, right? Like I just did something that you don't do in Brazil. You don't convert from VFR to IFR. It's not done. So I'm gonna get yelled at. So the ramp agent, as he parked us, he says, "Hey, the AIS guy, the radio guy wants to talk to you. Would you come inside?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go." And I was like, "Okay, let's prepare myself here." And I came in and I told them, "Look, I'm so sorry. I'm an American pilot. I know I'm not supposed to do that, but we needed to get down, right? Like we weren't comfortable circling over Juiz de Fora forever, assuming that it was good, and we only had 90 minutes of fuel." And he says, "No, absolutely, you did the right thing. Like you're fine, right? Like there are no repercussions here. You did the right thing. You came in when you had to." And then he was incredibly helpful with weather. We went outside and looked at the clouds. We looked at the forecast together. I called for a forecast. Like really, really nice guys working there. And we decided to just wait it out an hour, and it just cleared up. As you can see, it suddenly became broken. The layers are much higher. So we decided to take off for the 10-minute flight over to Juiz de Fora, where we get fuel, and then continue onwards. Watch this airport, though. Look at that. It's like side of a mountain. It was sort of a terrifying landing there, but side of the mountain, really interesting, really nice aero club, very busy, so many training airplanes there. In the next video you'll notice we line up and we just wait for plane after plane after plane landing and taking off. But so thank you folks from Zona da Mata Radio. We really appreciate your help. It was, being able to land there and get fuel made us safe, and made us able to, and not get fuel, made us safe and made us be able to continue to Juiz de Fora afterwards to get fuel and continue our trip. All right, watch for part 2 of this video, and please, thank you again for watching. Please subscribe, it really matters. We'll see you guys next time.